Lisa from theScore eSports, and we are at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Here with me is Nick Doucette, one of our League of Legends analysts, and we are previewing the final match between Team Solo Mid and Counter Logic Gaming. Now, TSM and Counter Logic Gaming, they have had a long rivalry, being the two oldest franchises in League of Legends. So, what can CLG do to finally beat TSM?
CLG just needs to keep doing what they've been doing all season long and what they did last week against Team Impulse, and that's taking some great early game and mid-game rotations and plays and snowballing that into match victories. Of the 14 games this season that Counter Logic Gaming has had goal leads at 15 minutes, they have won 12 of those. That's an 85% margin of victory if they're ahead. So they're definitely, they definitely play well with the lead, and that's something that they need to keep doing if they have a hope of competing with TSM. Another thing that they need to do is just take Azir out of the equation. There's no question that Pobelter can play that champion. He's 3-1 this season on it, but Bjergsen is simply out of this world, making massive plays for TSM, undefeated, 6-0 with a 5 KDA. Just take it out of the picture, and Counter Logic Gaming will have a much better shot.
So that's CLG's edge. So what is TSM's edge?
First of all, TSM needs to realize that there should be no pressure on them. They've already made it to Worlds. They've already been here before. All of the onus is on Counter Logic Gaming. This is the year that fans have been waiting for Counter Logic Gaming, and the pressure is immense on them right now. TSM has nothing to prove, whereas Counter Logic Gaming has everything to prove. That's the first thing that TSM needs to realize. That being said, it's not all roses for TSM. The game plan that they ran against Team Liquid, where they would concede the early game, concede the mid game, and wait for Team Liquid to slip up in the late game and capitalize with better team fighting, is not going to work against Counter Logic Gaming. As I just said, they play too well with the lead. They need to meet Counter Logic Gaming in the early game. They need to meet them in the mid game, and just sitting back and waiting for mistakes to happen is going to lose them the series.
So who do you think the X factor is for each team?
For Counter Logic Gaming, a lot of people would probably say Doublelift, but I actually think that Xmithy is going to be the X factor for this series. Doublelift certainly played his heart out last series. He had this, against Team Impulse, he had the series that Counter Logic Gaming fans always hoped he would have. But Xmithy played absolutely fantastic, definitely living up to his role on the team. He was 3-0 on the Jungle Echo, did some fantastic zoning, had great initiations. Xmithy has received a lot of flack over the past year for his play, and he finally stepped up and, like I said, fulfilled his role perfectly. Now, Santorin is also undefeated on Jungle Echo, so once the champion pool starts to be taken away from Xmithy, we need to see him play that same role and do what he did last series for Counter Logic Gaming against TSM.
And TSM?
For TSM, it's got to be Wild Turtle. There's been a shadow hanging over his play this entire season, and if he wants to dismiss all of those doubts once and for all, he needs to match Doublelift in a duel of the AD carries, because Doublelift is bringing some fantastic play to the table. Turtle needs to do the same.
All right, thanks, Nick. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at theScore eSports and download our app available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you next time.